Hi, everybody. PJ Kwong here, otherwise known as at Skating PJ, and I'm here for another wonderful town hall with Skate Ontario. And tonight's topic is going to be particularly interesting. So, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to be talking about the introduction of a new program called the Organizational Excellence Program, and it's been created to support club and skating school operations. So, I got a couple of great guests joining me tonight. The first is Skate Ontario Executive Director, Lisa Alexander. Lisa, come join me.
Hello, PJ. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. You know what? We've also got another great guest, and she is new to Skate Ontario, and that is Kate McNeil, who is the manager of Club and Skating School Services. I had to look down because I keep messing that up. Anyway, Kate McNeil, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
This is going to be super interesting. So, Kate, you are going to be talking to us about this organizational excellence program. But before we get to that, Lisa, I got a question for you. I want to know where do you see the importance of clubs and skating schools in Ontario?
I cannot even start to say enough about the clubs and skating
Yep.
schools, PJ. Honestly, I mean, when you think about it, pre COVID and growing back, we have 75,000 skaters in this province.
Wow.
And every single one of them skates in the clubs and schools, and the impact on the lives of all of those 75,000 people that they get, from skating that we know and love comes from having that system of clubs and skating schools.
You know what? This is something, and I am so excited to get into this season 2022, 2023. We've been saying it for like 2.5 years, but this is the one we're getting back to normal. So, back to normal for clubs, for operations, that means all kinds of different things. And that's why Kate is here, because Kate's going to talk to us about this organizational excellence program. So, Kate, right off the top, what is it?
Well, honestly, I think my husband would say it's a new family member for us. But truly and honestly, it's a vehicle for Skate Ontario to provide education, resources, support, and accountability to our clubs and skating schools as it relates to governance, facilitation of financial management, risk management, all of the really exciting things. Harpreet, if you want to show the first slide, you can see as well that the program is really connected into our strategic plan. So organizational excellence has been part of our plan, and this is the year that it gets to shine and really be prioritized by the organization, which I think is super exciting. And so our intention really and truly is with this program to make it easier for the volunteers on the club boards and for the school administrators to do their jobs and to maintain the standard that they have set for themselves at their club, and ultimately to help our skaters and families reach their goals in the sport of figure skating. So that's a little bit about what it is. And I think through the program this year, we're going to be able to better define our relationship, the relationship, I should say, between Skate Ontario and our clubs and schools. So I think we'll find some increased accountabilities and also clarity as it comes to responsibilities when it comes to organization as excellence. Yeah.
So, a couple of things. First of all, 300 plus clubs and skating schools in the province of Ontario.
Yes.
So, as many of the administrators and people who are interested, who are on this particular town hall, make sure if you want to have questions answered, we're going to try to get to as many of them as possible, or comments, just leave them in the chat. And our trusty backstage producer, Harpreet, is doing this outstanding job. This is the first time she's doing solo on StreamYard. Way to go, Harpreet. So I want to go back to Lisa for one quick second. And Lisa, why should this, or why is this whole organizational excellence program a priority for Skate Ontario?
It's so important. We hear from so many clubs and skating schools as we emerge from COVID, all of the pressures on our clubs and skating schools, and Kate called it the fun stuff, right? Governance and safe sport and finances. And clubs and skating schools can't run without that stuff. So our goal is to make this as easy as it can possibly be, to give you the resources to do that. Because we know that people are there because they care about their kids and they want the skaters to be able to skate. So we want to make this organization stuff so easy. And I want to make a big, I also want to make a big thank you and welcome to Kate for doing her
Yes.
first session tonight. We are so excited to have her join our team. She has an amazing background. People who haven't seen it, you should go look. She's been a board member of a skating club herself. She's a longtime skating family member. She's an official. She has a sport administration background. We are so lucky to have her. I am so excited for the clubs and schools to get to know her more.
You and me both. And you know what? Kate has been telling me in preparation for this town hall, she's been telling Harpreet and me that there is nothing that she likes better than to be in touch directly with people at the clubs and skating schools in Ontario. So we're going to flash her email address across the bottom of the screen. If you have questions, if you have comments, she is the person who is going to be able to sort of sort you out. And if she doesn't know how to do it, she's going to find somebody who can. So Kate, are you going to be able to live up to all of this? That's what I want to know.
I hope so. I am super excited to be back in the community in this way. I've been involved in the skating family since I was 3 years old in various capacities, and to be able to bring my experiences back and serve in this manner is something I think is a huge privilege, and I'm honored to be here.
It is a great combination of your experience and skills and what our community needs. So that's fantastic. Okay, I'm going to get into some questions now. And I want to know, can you give me some specifics? This is a very ambitious sounding program. So what are you planning on for its delivery? And when does all of this start?
Yeah, you're right. It is super ambitious because, like Lisa said, it's really important work, and we are ready to offer a more robust support system to the clubs and schools with it. So I won't be able to share every detail because we don't have time for the kind of breadth of the program tonight, but we did want to introduce some of the first initiatives that are going to be getting underway really, really quickly. Some stuff to sign up for in the fall is already on the website. And so those exciting first steps are a new members portal. So stay tuned. You'll be hearing from me probably later in September with an invitation to join that. It's a new online space where we're going to have an enhanced experience in terms of communicating between our clubs and Skate Ontario. There's going to be an opportunity for discussion there as well, and a discussion board. So more to come on that. We're launching a President's Club that's going to be getting underway really quickly next week with the first meeting. We're going to be launching an education series, a workshop series. And of course, consultations are back and they have no fee attached.
So let's talk a little bit about let's talk about the President's Club. I wanted to look at these initiatives all kind of one at a time. Can you talk to me about the President's Club? What does it mean? And don't forget, questions, comments, anything from the audience, we're happy to take them in our chat.
Yeah, for sure. Harpreet, if you want to put the President's Club slide up now. So what this is a monthly meeting. We're going to start with hosting it on the last Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. We'll see how that goes. And like everything, this is going to be an evolving initiative. So we'll take feedback and we'll make sure it's working for the community. But we're going to get started next Thursday, August 25th. You can register for that call now on the website. The link is there for you. And the intention for this call, this group, really is to create a community of peers. The club president role is huge. It's massively important. And what we really want to do is make sure that the presidents are getting the support where they have time to kind of zoom out and look at their operations from that higher level, which really is part of the club role. And so the presidents, this first call, we are going to be doing a bit of an orientation to the role of being a club president, and starting some of that networking and some collaborating as well. I'm really excited because we do have such a huge community that some of our presidents may know their local colleagues, but they may never have interacted with colleagues that may be running a similar sized operation across the province. And we're hoping that this club really offers a chance for that networking to happen and support. So certainly go ahead and get registered for this one. When you sign up, there is an opportunity for you to put questions or comments as part of your registration. And I will use that to help us influence the agenda, of course, as well.
You know what? We've got our first question, and it's from the fantastic Fort Henry Heights Skating Club. Okay. We're going to just get rid of this banner for a moment, and we're going to bring up the question. Apparently, there is a bit of confusion on there we go. So Fort Henry says that is it on the 25th or the 26th for the First President's Club? The link has both dates.
Exciting.
And if the president isn't available, can the vice president sit in on it instead?
Absolutely. So without looking at my calendar, it's the Thursday. So it's going to be the last Thursday of every month. So whatever that is, is the right number. And yes, the president may choose to send a delegate if they wish. There's an opportunity to identify their role when they register.
Yep. So if today is the 16th, then a week Thursday will be the 25th.
Perfect. 25th.
And they say perfect and thank you.
Yes. Okay. Amazing.
So again, for any questions, any comments, we had another comment that was from my old skating student, Nicole Maurer West, who is with a skating club that is slightly west of Toronto. And this idea of area meetings really appeals to her because it's a chance for networking and it's a chance for clubs to really find out what other clubs are doing. So can you comment a little bit about if that's part of the purpose of it?
It 100% is part of the purpose to share those best practices. And also on the other side, to share a little bit of the overwhelm and to know that you're not alone. It is a huge role. We're all doing the best we can every day. We all are chasing huge goals and we're in it together. And so as much as it is about getting new ideas, it's also about troubleshooting and problem solving, getting up-to-date information. And also just like from Skate Ontario side, having that arena where we know once a month we can talk about timely, lively updates in a discussion forum, face to face, Zoom face to face. And so absolutely that's part of the intention.
Okay. And it's a question that's only PJ can ask. What about snacks?
Bring your own.
Okay. Because it's an online virtual meeting, right?
Online virtual meeting. Bring your snacks, bring your tea, bring your wine, whatever.
That's terrific. Okay. I want to invite Lisa back onto the screen because there may be some questions around here that are going to be interesting for her as well. Let's talk a little bit about education. You mentioned education off the top. So Kate, how does this fit into your program?
Honestly, I think education is the backbone of the program. There are so many different facets of running a skating school or a skating club, and it is so hard to maintain control of what's updating and what's evolving when and where. And so we want to be able to step in and fill some of those education spots for our clubs and our skating schools. Of course, we want our volunteers to feel like they're trained and they're set up for success in their roles. And that's going to be a big part of this education session. So some of them are starting right away. The first one I'm really looking forward to, it's a board member orientation session. So this is for anyone who is on the board of a club. So if it's your first year, if it's your or a skating school. This is pretty specific to the governance of a club because it's the volunteer board. But certainly if there is some overlap there, they'd be welcome to attend. Well, it's welcome for everybody. So whether it's your first year or fifth year or 10th year in this type of role, come on in and join the conversation. There's 4 dates to choose from. I think there's a slide for this as well, Harpreet, and the registration is open for these on the website at the same link as well. We will be recording one and posting that and sharing it as well. So if none of the dates work, then you can certainly benefit. And if you have a pretty new board or your club has a real strong desire to have this type of a session as like a team building season kickoff, I would absolutely love to facilitate it for your whole board together at a time that works for you virtually. So we can also have that adaptability if you feel like you want to have it as your club specific as well.
I have a bit of a question for Lisa around education and the boards and this orientation session. What are we trying to achieve in terms of educating our boards? Are the boards not doing like what they're supposed to be doing, or what is the goal here?
Yeah, I think, listen, our boards are amazing.
They are.
But, but I often hear from people, they just, they had a kid who just, ended up loving skating, and next thing you know, they're on the board.
Yeah, exactly.
So really the goal is make sure that people are protecting themselves, that they are protecting the skaters, and that, we're here to help make that easy. We want people to feel like they can volunteer to be on a board, and that we will make it as easy as possible. Because I think people don't know what they don't know about what some of those requirements are. So we're here to fill in the blanks.
You know what, Kate? We mentioned off the top that you have experience at having been on a board.
Mm-hmm.
What was what was your experience like in terms of what you felt you were accomplishing, where you were concerned on the board?
Yeah, so my skating specific board experience is very much so that it's still very operational. So it's a lot of the boards at the skating clubs are still managing who's opening the door, who's going to work the bingo, like who's doing these day-to-day operations of getting the kids on the ice. And in reality, the board actually has a much larger fiduciary responsibility to the governance of the organization, which is its own entity and has responsibilities. And so, yes, we need to engage our volunteer workforce so that we can manage the operations and have those really important jobs done every time we have ice happening. But we also need that workforce to be zoomed out and engaged in their role in that way. And it's not the same duties for one person, shouldn't be doing those all, right? And so the board orientation session is going to help bring some awareness to where some of those separations could be. The other thing that has come up a lot already is how do we manage these conflicts where we are wearing multiple hats in our club and I'm on the board. And so as part of the orientation session, we will also be looking at conflicts of interest, for example, better digesting those, working through some scenarios. So all kinds of things just to kind of help us zoom out and look at what it means to really be governing an organization, which is its own entity, which is what you're doing. Yeah.
You know what? You said to me one of my favorite words, which is fiduciary. Don't ask me why I like it. I like
It's a great
to
word.
say it to myself. We're going to talk about the fun stuff, finances.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, with that fiduciary responsibility we're talking about, that this is where we're headed. So how does that play into your organizational excellence program?
100%. So another education session that's straight up in September is a financial management for clubs and skating schools. We are going to be talking about finances in a couple of different ways over the course of our education series, and of course in consultation with our clubs. But these ones that are coming up in September are going to be specifically related to some of the procedures that help a club elevate their standard of communication with their membership and increase the transparency. Also helps with succession. So we're going to be talking about fee setting, the budgeting process, a reserve fund planning, having a procedure and policy for having a reserve fund. What are we using our fundraising monies for? Some of these things have just evolved and our clubs haven't known about them. We haven't had the resources, but they really do strengthen your organization because you can share that process with other members and say, this is how we do it. This is how we use the money. This is how the registration fee comes to be. And when there's turnover, new board members coming in, understand how to do the same really important policies and procedures. So that session's coming up. We're going to be offered on 2 different nights. One will be recorded as well in September. So if that's calling to you, this would be great for, say, a treasurer, a school administrator, president or board member, any type of position like that. And again, when you sign up, you can submit your questions and comments, things like that. And we'll be tackling that part of the financial management in September straight away.
And how long will those sessions be? I mean, do people have to sort of clear out a whole evening, or are they fairly concise, or what are you imagining?
I think I'd like them. They'll probably be around an hour. I'm not sure that we can do them in a concise way that gives any depth
That
or
is concise.
meaning. Yeah.
An hour is
I would
concise.
say for the Anka one that we'll talk about in a bit, that one's probably going to be 90 minutes. And depending on what questions come in with the registration, maybe the finance ones will be a little bit more, but I would say 45 to 90 minutes would be appropriate.
Okay, that's great. That is concise. I mean, if you were
Okay.
trying to get me to figure out finance, you'd need way longer than 45 minutes or
You'd
an
get
hour.
a workshop.
I was going to say by myself. So I know that for most people, the word governance, myself included, can be intimidating. I know this is where you live. You love governance.
Yeah.
So why do we need to focus on this aspect? And I guess, how are you helping people with ONCA? And first of all, do you know what ONCA stands for?
Yeah.
Clubs. Go ahead.
Okay, so governance is a really important part of safe sport. It's a really important part of the safe sport experience for our families that are coming into skating, and having the proper policies and procedures in place allows us to provide a transparent and safe experience for anyone engaging in our business. So as a foundational reason why it's important, it's safety. A secondary reason is because it allows us to know what to do. And so I think there's a misconception that governance is policing, that we're looking for someone doing something wrong, trying to place blame, and that's just not the case. Like anything else, what is required and what defines a really well-run organization is constantly evolving. And so we want to make sure that our club operations, our policies and procedures have evolved as well and are still serving us in the way they're meant to, which is they should be making our job easier when a situation comes up. Those things are in place. We know what to do. We're protected and served with the information we need. And so Anka is an example of this living in front of us, this evolution happening. And we will be running a workshop called Understanding Anka in October. You can sign up for those sessions as well on the website already. Things that are part of Anka are being incorporated, are having your bylaws compliant, which will involve a review, which we are going to create some resources to help you with that review process. It also means filing articles annually, and we are going to help you understand what that means, where to get them, how to fill them in. And that's going to make sense whether you're brand new and incorporating and coming into this stream, or if you're needing to make some adjustments. So everyone's kind of going to be doing the same steps. And this is going to look very different for all of our clubs. Anka relates just to nonprofits, so the clubs. And that's also what the consultations are for. So we are here to support you. There is no blame, finger pointing, why are you not here? None of that. I would say, let's lead with a lens of curiosity and be really curious about where things have evolved to and where we can play catch up and think forward about where we want to go and come into the next 2 years of doing these reviews at the clubs and schools with that lens and excitement for how governance can serve us instead of being concerned or worried about like policing and finger pointing.
Great. I have a question. It's actually just a question that's popped into my head. And that is, if I were to be on a board at one skating club and I get this training, over the course of this fall, are these skills transferable? Is the idea partly to be able to make sure that these policies and procedures exist kind of across the province?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're required for everyone. So there's a standard, and part of this program, which we're not introducing tonight, but we will share soon, is a standards chart. And so my goal really coming into this was to make things really clear. My friends call me Clarity Kate. I like things to be clear. I like people to know. I like it to be, really obvious. And so we have created a standards chart, and it's not ready yet, but it will be, because my intention is that these board members and school administrators can come to one spot and say, Skate Ontario told me I need to do this, 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 and this, and this, and they are going to make sure that this stays up to date. And I know that when I come here, I'm checking all my boxes as they relate to government legislation, my membership, things like that, right? So yeah.
So Lisa, do you want to jump in on anything in terms of this consistency idea about our clubs and skating schools?
Well, I think it's something that's really important. We take such pride, deserved pride in the quality of our skating programs. And, as Kate said, it is, the same way that skating skills, change and evolve, so too did the way we have to run the clubs and schools. So I think it's just important to keep up to date with that. And again, just to make sure that you've got the most current intel, and it's, easier to invest time upfront in getting some of this stuff right. And I like Kate's way of expressing it, that it can then serve you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, if anything comes along, like, you are ready, and it is easy.
Mm-hmm.
I love easy. It's my favorite 4-letter word.
And in terms of the Anka session, we're really going to be kind of educating on what the changes are and what resources Skate Ontario is able to provide. Now, it is each organization's responsibility as its own entity in order to make these changes in a way that makes sense for them. We have some clubs who are engaging nonprofit lawyers to assist them with their bylaw reviews and some of the financial policies and procedures. That is amazing. Several of them have told me they will share. So we're going to be, again, building some of those best practices, leveraging our resources. So there's not just one way that a club can go through this process over the next 2 years of leveling up, if you will. There's a couple of ways, and we're just going to try to help create those pathways and support which one works best for which club.
That is amazing. So people can actually come to you and not feel somehow embarrassed that they don't have all of the information yet, right?
Not at all. Yeah, please don't. Please don't ever feel embarrassed to say, we don't know where to start. We will look at it together, and you don't have to carry that whole load. I will definitely help you figure out where you need to start.
You are amazing. All right. My favorite part, travel. The Pursuit of Excellence Roadshow. Sounds like a trip. I got to pack a suitcase. What is it, and how can people become involved?
Yeah, so it's super fun, catchy name, right? And what we know is that some people really benefit from in-person service and face-to-face interaction. And we also know that our province is huge, and to be able to receive that in-person service, it can be tricky. And so what we are going to do with the roadshow is I am going to go do my favorite thing, which is get out and in person with the clubs and schools. And we're going to schedule a couple of days in a couple of key hubs where a club could drive to me. Easier than where I am located now. So in some cases, it'll be right in their city. In some cases, maybe it's 2 or 3 hours away. We're doing our best to get closer and more accessible. And I may do a couple of the group education sessions in these on the roadshow. Clubs and schools could sign up for a workshop with their board. They could sign up for a one-on-one consultation. They could come to an in-person session. And so the Thunder Bay, Kenora, and Sudbury dates are locked and loaded. I am going to be there. Flights are booked. Time is scheduled. I'm just waiting on the meeting space logistics, but as soon as I have that, people will be able to sign up. But if you're here and you're like, I really I'm going to be in Kenora, I want the 21st, just send me an email and I will plot you in. It's meant to work for you. So just reach out and we will make sure that you get that. We're working on the kind of next leg will be kind of between that Bowmanville and Ottawa corridor. I'm looking at several dates in November, GTA and west of GTA looking at December. And then we will kind of regroup and check in and see if more in-person support is being requested and do it again in the new year.
But it doesn't mean that people can't be in touch with you before then.
Absolutely not. And all of these things I can deliver virtually as well. So if you and your board have become very Zoom friendly and you would like to have the session on Zoom, we can do that at any time in any way that works for you. And if there is something really pressing and the in-person service is best for you and it doesn't work when I'm close to you, we can look at figuring that out and arranging something specific. So don't look at this and say, none of those work. Just drop me an email and say, we heard about the in-person support that truly works best for us. What can we figure out? And we will work on it together.
First of all, Zoom, what is that? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. My dog is helping me here on Zoom. As you can see, I'm trying to keep him away from me. Listen, we have a wonderful compliment to you from Priscilla Chung. And she talked about her recent meeting with you at the Unionville Skating Club, that you were so informative and that they are confident with the new initiatives and resources that it's going to help them build a stronger Unionville. So congratulations on all your hard work. Okay, road trip. You got me in already, but I want to know, is there anything else that you kind of want to let us know about? Is there anything else that you want to sort of discuss? And at least I'm going to open up the floor to you as well, but I'm going to start with Kate.
Yeah, I mentioned consultations earlier, and please don't wait for a special session or me to be near you on the road trip. Reach out. Nothing is, you don't have to wait. So if you need something, send me an email. We can set up a call. We can figure it out together. Workshops are coming as well. So those are going to be really fun. I've already been in consultation with some of the clubs. So some of this has already kind of been started before we even introduced it. And so you don't have to wait. If something's eating at you, if something's come up for your club, certainly do reach out and we will make sure that you're getting the service from the program that meets you where you're at. Honestly, I would say my takeaway is like, I want to meet you where you're at. And so you need to just let us know where you're at and we will meet you there.
Okay, terrific. I appreciate the fact that you said takeaways. I guess I want to talk a little bit too about HR. We talked briefly before the session started about some of the dispute resolution and some of the HR aspects. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yes. So those are planned in our education session. Thank you for reminding me, PJ, for January, February, March. So we're going to be looking at dispute resolution at the club level. This is a requirement, and we're going to be helping make sure that you have processes and procedures at the club level that make sense for you. We're also going to be offering an HR education session. So a little bit more about what does it mean to have employees? What is a contractor? How do we do contracts? Some of that stuff as well. And again, these are really important parts of safe sport for the bigger picture of figure skating. I think we often think of safe sport as injuries, but the policies, the procedures, how we're managing our members' finances, how we are interacting when it comes to disputes, how we're doing these things, they're really part of the whole sport experience. So they're super important, and they will work together with some of the initiatives that Skate Canada has planned. So I know that they are going to be introducing some more education when it comes to safe sport this fall as well at the Skate Canada level. So stay tuned for that. We'll certainly be sharing those as they become shared and available.
That's amazing. Anything else to add as far as like HR and dispute resolution, Lisa?
I don't think so. Kate's like, she's covering
it
all.
On fire. Yeah. She's on fire. Yeah. But it's true. We sort of like, we have our part to play in this as far as I understand. So Lisa, feel free to sort of correct me, but that some of these issues are bigger than us as a PSO or provincial sport organization. And we rely on the NSO or National Sport Organization, in our case, Skate Canada, to sort of facilitate some of these more challenging issues. Is that a fair statement?
That is 100% a fair statement. And I know it's something that people may be nervous about right now. You just have to look around in the media. There's a lot of churn going on around sports.
Yeah.
But we are super lucky within our system. Skate Canada, was way out ahead of this and has put together just some excellent resources when it comes to safe sport. So, you heard Kate say, like, we're here to help link all of that stuff together. And at the same time, anticipate some further support from Skate Canada too. So I think that you can feel very, very supported. We're always, of course, available for questions, but we've already got good systems and processes in place, and you'll get reminders and education on those things coming up.
That is terrific. Kate, we have another comment from Nicole Maurer West, my former student, who wants to put in a vote for Mount Forest, which is the Guelph through the Owen Sound area, because it is around 12 different clubs. So I'm just putting it out there for Nicole. I'm just putting it out there, Kate.
Yeah. Nicole, I'll come.
Is a volunteer for skating, and that's just fantastic. So that's right. I mean, that's, I guess, one of the things that I sort of want to get your final thoughts on. If people want to know 3 things about Kate McNeil and this amazing program, what would you like to tell them?
Oh my gosh. About the program is that it is here. It's about me.
Yes. Like, you're available virtually. That's
I'm available virtually. I'm very compassionate and understanding, and I've been a volunteer in a lot of roles, and I understand, and I want to just help you and meet you where you're at. I'm really passionate about governance and doing the right thing and making sure that we can put those resources in place so that the volunteers are able to achieve their goals and have a great experience volunteering in our sport as well. And so I would just say, the main thing I want you to know is don't be shy, reach out. And for example, we are planning the roadshow. So if there are 12 clubs close to Mount Forest and they are going to like that location and it's a good spot to go, let me know, because it just saves me time planning. So any bit of that that is relevant, I want to hear it all. I'm in it with you.
if and you say fiduciary, which of course we now know is one of my favorite words, so people can get a hold of you by email. We're going to run that banner one more time that has your email address.
Yep.
And Kate, this has just been fantastic. Lisa, before we close it all off, you as the leader of our Skate Ontario family, as our executive director, what are some of your final thoughts?
I want to reiterate again how lucky we are to have Kate join our team. You know what? Yes, thank you. I think it was, it was a great reminder at the start of those two pieces of us doing what we want, which is offering awesome experiences for skaters. And as Kate said, for people who want to volunteer in the sport too, right? Like people, we have a ton of heart for this. So, we always work very hard on the learning to skate and the skating programs. So we're super happy to be bringing, I think it's completely appropriate coming out of COVID that we're really bringing this very dedicated focus to that, like run your club and skating school business side. So making sure that everybody is super clear that we're here for you in that regard. And, Kate is now our lead on that, and so excited to have her out there working with all of our clubs and schools.
Do you know what? We are all excited about it. No person more than Krista Ann C., who has a great comment to sort of close this out on. And that is a thank you. What a great initiative to connect the clubs and skating schools across the province. So there isn't a whole lot more to say, except for Char Land Skating Club. Can't wait to attend a row show. Thanks, Skate Ontario.
Awesome.
And Kirsty Snyder-Baltus, this is so great. Thank you. And Nicole Maurer West, good luck. She's on it. So she's going to be contacting you, Kate, without delay, I am quite sure. So one more time, if people want to get a hold of you, your email address is going to flash across the bottom of the screen. And I am just going to say thank you so much to everybody for joining us. Kate McNeil, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us about these amazing programs. We are going to close it off here. I'm PJ Kwong for Skate Ontario, and I just want to say thank you for joining us, and bye for now.